Disney posts AI art to celebrate Thanksgiving. Wacom provides drawing tools for artists, posts AI art for one of their ads. A24, a studio that lifts creatives and supported actors and writers throughout their strikes, creates official posters made from AI art for their upcoming movie Civil War. Goblin's, arguably the best school for animation, posts AI art and then takes it down the next day. Annecy, the most prestigious animation film festival in the world, accepts a film that uses stable diffusion that exists only through the theft of other people's work. Is AI art the death of real artists? Okay, now that we got through that intro, don't worry, this isn't a morning video. This is a hopeful video, I think. So this past few weeks, there's been a huge discord in the art community about AI art. Really quick, how does AI art work? AI trains on specific data sets. There's actually a database of over 16,000 artists used to train Midjourney AI. And that's including a 6-year-old child. There's these huge training models that feed in millions of artwork from real people so it can spew out AI created art. You can even find botched signatures in a lot of AI art. People who create AI art type in specific names of real artists to mimic their style. Even huge companies that celebrate artists are caught using AI art, like the ones I showed you at the beginning of the video. And now studios, like film studios, animation studios, are using AI art, which I think is linked to why animation studios are experiencing so many layoffs, projects being canceled, and everybody on Instagram is posting that they're looking for work. I'm also looking for work soon. So there's a pretty popular post going around now from an anonymous art director that works at a large studio. They had to work with AI prompters. They created lots of AI art in a really short period of time. Out of the 40 images they submitted, maybe 1 or 2 are okay. In the first round of feedback, there's perspective mistakes, color corrections that need to be made. The AI prompters go back and they submit new variations of the artwork. None of the notes really have been hit. After many rounds of feedback with the art director, these AI prompters can't fix basic mistakes in the pieces. None of the images are usable, and the post ends with a little bit of hope, because as of right now, AI can't replace artists. But it's a little insight as to what's actually happening in the studios right now. And I'm not here to explain why AI art is bad. You can watch a dozen of other YouTube videos that explain this a lot better than I do. I wanted to make this video because of a recent development, and that is Meta's data scraping. So Meta, like Facebook and Instagram, has recently made a change to their policy where they can use all of the things you post to feed their AI model, which means by using an Instagram account, you're consenting for all of your art and all of your posts to be used to feed their AI creation models. Now, there is a way to object to this and opt out. It's confusing. You have to write a paragraph as to why you want to opt out, why you deserve to opt out. And it's not even available in a lot of countries. I'm not able to opt out. I think it's because there's different laws in different countries, but even if you were able to opt out, I don't even see why Meta would follow through with its promise. So what have people been doing? Some artists have decided to take all their art off of Instagram, like the famous Corey Loftus, powerhouse in the animation world. It's really sad we won't be able to see new artwork he creates anymore. But if you were on Instagram last week, you've probably seen that 500,000 users have moved over to a new app called Kara, which is a hybrid app of Twitter and Instagram that doesn't use your art for AI training, doesn't allow AI art on their website, but is currently very slow because their servers are overrun. I've even seen posts from the creators with these huge bills they have to pay out. It was a small company and then suddenly they have 500,000 users. I personally don't know if it'll last or not. I've seen a lot of apps come and go. I'd like for this one to last. I think that's very cool. Not to steal my artwork. I love that for Kara. And you can go follow me there if you want. Hi, it's me again editing this video, and I have another update, another development in corporations stealing from us. So Adobe updated their terms of service. So in order to continue using Adobe, you give them permission to the worldwide royalty-free license to reproduce, display, distribute, or do whatever they want with the content that we create using their software. And that means training their AI. So that means if you save anything in their Creative Cloud or even locally on your own computer, you might see your artwork all mashed up in a creative stock image down the line. People are also very upset because Photoshop is the industry standard. And if we create art under an NDA for our employees, does that mean Photoshop could just use it for anything? Adobe released a clarification of their terms of use to explain that Adobe does not train Firefly AI models on customer content. Their AI models are trained on licensed content like Adobe stock and a public domain content. They also said Adobe will never assume ownership of a customer's work. But Brad Colbo has a great video explaining why this sounds like BS. There's a lot of wiggle room in their follow-up explanation, and the trust is gone since Adobe literally used artists' work in the past to train their AI by updating their terms of service, which is like exactly what's happening right now. So that's another thing to be mad about. But do you know what website does allow you to opt out of AI data crawling? It's the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. You can opt out of AI crawlers easily, so your website will request not to be scanned to train AI models, which is excellent if you use your website as a portfolio for your art like I do. I can easily customize my portfolio without any coding experience, so my portfolio will look as professional as I am. And I can choose from a seemingly infinite amount of templates to make my website feel unique and do the job that I need it to do. Here's my secret: I use Brine. I think it's the best template out there. So use my code JackieDrushko for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or a website. So how can we protect our artwork, especially on Instagram? People are suggesting to use watermarks, uploading at a low DPI, or even taking a picture within a picture of your art. And that actually worked for image to image tags, which is like when you upload a specific artwork into like Midjourney or something and ask it to create something similar. But there's another tool that you've probably heard of popping up everywhere, and that is Glaze and Nightshade. So what is it? Glaze is a tool where you upload your art and it pops out a new image. It creates a set of minimal changes to artwork that are indistinguishable to the human eye, but drastically different to AI models. Now, Nightshade is something similar, but instead of defending your art style mimicry, it poisons the data set to distort the features to like the eyes of AI. Here is artwork from Carla Ortiz. Without Glaze, here's the AI generated art mimicking her style. Like someone types in, "Make me art in the style of Carla Ortiz." But here's the AI art after her artwork was glazed. The style is different. Now for Nightshade, the goal is to poison the AI model's output. So after 1,000 poison samples of a dog using Nightshade, the AI will output a really messed up cat. So the more people who use Nightshade, the more we're gonna mess up AI generated art. And I'll link the study below so you can check it out for yourself. So I downloaded Glaze and Nightshade, and I wanted to kind of show you how it works so it's not so scary. Yes, it's free. So when I look over to Glaze, you can upload your image, you can change the intensity from low default to high. You know, the higher it is, the more changes you're gonna be seeing in your art. You know, the higher render quality will make your art piece look crisper and leads to better protection. And then you have the output folder. Looking at Nightshade, there's an optional poison tag. It's basically the tag that you would give your art piece right now. Right now, it's auto-detecting beach in the piece I'm uploading, so the output tag is going to be different than the input tag. So for example, if there's 1,000 nightshaded pieces with the tag beach, all those images have the same new tag. Maybe it's like forest. So now when someone types in like, ooh, I want a beach painting in Midjourney, they'll get a weird forest instead. So similar to Glaze, you get to import the images you want to shade, you get to change the intensity from low to high, and you get to change the render quality. Faster taking about 30 minutes, but on my computer, it only took a couple minutes. Slowest taking about 180 minutes, but on my computer, it took 40 minutes. So here's an art piece that I glazed of mine from the lowest intensity to the highest intensity. You can see at the lowest intensity, there's really not that much of a change, especially if you're scrolling on a little phone. You won't be able to tell. The highest intensity does look quite different though. Next, I tried Nightshade. It says it takes like 30 minutes, but on the lowest render quality, it only took a few minutes for me. And it looks pretty similar to Glaze. Here's my Nightshaded art from the lowest intensity to the highest intensity. But the creators of the program suggest using Nightshade first and then glazing it. They're working on a 2-in-1 program, so I hope to see that soon. And here's the final piece after putting it through a low intensity shade and a low intensity glaze. Like I said, looking at a tiny screen, you're barely gonna notice a change. It does take some time and effort and computer power, but isn't that worth it to stick it to the man? Now, if your computer doesn't have the capacity to download Nightshade or Glaze, there is a web glaze version. It's invite only to keep it in the hands of artists, so you have to either DM the Glaze project on Instagram or Twitter and request access using your art account, because they need to see that you create art and you're a real artist. But at the time of recording, there's a huge backlog because their team is super overrun. Like I said, this past week has been crazy. But you should soon be able to glaze your art right through the Kara app, which I think will be really clutch, so keep an eye out for that. So, does it really work? There's a lot of discussion that trying to outrun AI data training is like a cat chasing its tail. Won't AI models just train themselves to bypass glazed art? Glaze says they're constantly updating their software to make sure that it's effective against the newest models and attacks. So right now, it's kind of the best option we have. I've also gotten the question, is there a point of glazing or nightshading your artwork if you're a smaller artist? I think the more glazed and shaded artwork we have out there, the more trouble it'll cause huge companies that are stealing our artwork without our consent. And I think it's pretty badass that we have the power to do something about it, to poison their data set, to protect our style. I'm personally gonna start putting only glazed artwork and maybe Nightshade artwork onto my Instagram moving forward. I'm also trying to encourage others to start glazing their artwork by having some information about glaze on the last slide of my art. And you can use this graphic and encourage others as well. So some final thoughts. Can AI be used for good? In the early days of AI art, I was pretty hopeful that there would be laws to protect the copyright of artists. And I really thought that maybe the more boring parts of my job will be turned over to AI art. Like, I'm a character designer for like feature and TV, and something I hate doing is turnarounds. I really thought that I could draw like a 3/4 front view and then AI would pop out the rest of the turn for me. And then I could fix up little things that don't match, or things that like I'd like to cheat, or ways to make it better, but like the big time-consuming chunk will be taken over by AI. And then I could focus on more creative parts of my job. But now I feel a little less hopeful. Like, we took a turn that I fear we'll never turn back from. But while we wait for new laws and legislation to be put into effect, we can glaze and we can nightshade. Or we can take 5 different photos of our artwork and post it like that. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I want to hear your opinion about AI art, about glazing, nightshading, or your experience with the industry right now as pertaining to AI art. And if you're still here, that means you like me. And if you like me enough, maybe you'd like to go on a trip with me. I want to go to Japan with you, and I'm gathering as much survey data as I can in order to make that possible. I'm planning a group trip where you and me and like 8 to 25 other people can explore a new country, draw together. I can host like workshops and generally get to know each other. If that sounds interesting to you, I'll have the survey link below and would love, love, love to have you fill it out for me because I really want this to happen. I think it'll be so cool. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.